Okay, so it is at the hour and we're going to go ahead and get started. So first, thanks everyone very much for traveling both near and in some cases very far or for very long to join us at this inaugural IHF Users and Developers Workshop. So yeah, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna try and keep the logistics that are a bit boring very short so that we can try and get on to the actual content. Okay, so yeah, so first, thanks very much for coming. And in general, throughout the week, if you have any questions on something, either go ahead and find myself or Jordan here in person at CERN or Lucas on Zoom. And if you can also go ahead and just email the PyHF workshop organizers email address, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. All right, so workshop goals. Why are we here? So we have split the workshop up into two different sections. On Monday through Wednesday, the goal is basically to try and bring together the broader PyHF user community to try and discuss and find ideas of potential overlap. So maybe kernels of ideas for new features or common uses that can get turned into their own libraries or their own additions. As well as trying to understand what the resourceful members out there have actually been building on top of PyHF. So have you been building your own library that uses PyHF as an engine and is able to kind of sit atop and do more, expand to more things? Or are you using PyHF in your analysis and you've then plugged that into your analysis framework? We also want to just better understand the user experience. So what is the things that are not so good? What are the pain points? What are areas for improvements in general? But we'd also like you to go ahead and start, thinking about these and ideas and right now. So there is a workshop Google Doc, which should have global edit permissions. So please go ahead and click on that. And throughout the workshop, if you have ideas or if you're watching a presentation and something that someone says sparks an idea resonates with you, please go ahead and write that down. So I'll just, for demonstration purposes, yes, I do want to look at this, pop this up. So yeah, we can see that we have some kind of prompts and people can go ahead and feel free to get going. All right, going back to this. So that's Monday through Wednesday, so maybe the core of the workshop. And then Thursday through Friday is the developer section. So we want to try and make sure that everybody at the workshop feels empowered to be able to contribute or use PyHF better. So make sure that they feel enabled to kind of hack with it. And also we want to emphasize that this is an open source project for the broader particle physics community. Just because the original core developer team is from Atlas does not mean that this is an Atlas only tool. So we want to make sure that you feel like it can be your project just as much as ours. So on Thursday morning, we'll hold a kind of developer onboarding session to make sure that you feel that you have a working development environment on your own laptop and you feel that you can get up and running. We're then also going to have a birds of a feather session, which is basically, if you're not familiar with it, this is kind of an idea of just kind of breaking out into small groups to kind of have focused discussion on topics of interest for you and other people who care about that. And then the rest of the workshop is going to be pretty much informal developer sprints. And so this terminology of sprints kind of comes from the Scientific Python conference, where it's more just choose something that you find interesting and try and work on it for the duration of the time. That can, either be a small thing, like if you have one particular, one line fix that you want to try and get to, or it might be something much larger, like overhauling the documentation. These are all things that we want to try and make sure you're enabled to do and get at it. And then we maybe also by the end, we'll have enough work from the sprints that we can even cut a new patch release or a new feature release. So we'll see. Also, we're very much interested in expanding the developer team. So if this is, so at the end of the workshop, if this seems like something that you'd be interested carrying on for you and your collaborators, then we'd love to have you, sign up and without any formal commitments, kind of join the development team. Similarly, please go ahead and add points to the workshop there. to the Google Doc. Okay, so then we ended up getting at the last couple of weeks a lot more in-person registration than we were expecting. So we outgrew the original rooms that we booked. But that means that since we were trying to book rooms late, we ended up not being able to get just one room for the whole week. So we're going to get our steps in for those of us who are at CERN. So this is basically the room meeting schedule. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of switching, but luckily they're not too far in general. We're not going all the way to the far side of campus. So you all, everyone who's in the room today managed to find their way here. And then after lunch, we're going to be in 304. If you don't know where these places are, you can try and find us and follow us, but also we'd recommend checking out the CERN map as well as the CERN campus mobile apps, which are actually pretty good. And then this is all on the Indigo as well. Also, for just safety and evacuation, I'm not going to really read through this slide, but please take one moment just to try and read through it. And in general, if something happens, just try and safely exit the building and then make your way to one of these meeting points. Also, we have plenty of snacks. Jordan went and did a good haul the other day, so we've got snacks and stickers back in the corner, and these will be carried with us from place to place. There's also, for food in general, there's R1 and R2, and then there's different vending areas. So you should be well taken care of in terms of food and drink throughout the workshop. And then on Tuesday night, we're going to be holding a broad workshop social dinner that will be at Luigia at 7:30. So we're gonna try and make this free for everybody. So we'll cover up to roughly 50 shift per person, which I mean I think that's roughly enough to get like a pizza or pasta and a drink, and maybe an espresso afterwards. So but we'll roughly try and cover this. We have a reservation, so please join us. And we'll try and do something similar on Thursday. We might not actually go out to dinner, but we'll make sure that there's some sort of social event Thursday evening. Okay, and then for the workshop, we also were able to get IRIS-HEP to contribute access to the Scalable Systems Laboratory Binder Hub and Jupyter Hub instance. So this is a private Binder Hub and Jupyter Hub that is running at the University of Chicago that all of you should have access to. So there's links here for some kind of introduction summary stuff, but in general, I might actually kind of encourage people to follow along with this if you have the slides open. The first thing you're going to do is just click this binderhub.sslhep.org link to go there. You should then be greeted with this page where it says authorized users only. This is not really meant to scare you, but you should go ahead and click on sign in with Keycloak. On that page, you're going to see a sign in box, but the way you're going to engage with this is at the bottom. It's sign in with CI logon. And if you go ahead and click on that, you'll be once again redirected to this CI logon page. You'll then basically be able to find your authenticator that you want. So you can either authenticate with your university, or you can authenticate with CERN, or you can authenticate with OrcID. There's a variety of these, but in general, if you can authenticate with CERN or your university, that'd be great. If not, if you don't have access to any of the options, go ahead and ping us and we can try and help there. But so if in this example, I selected CERN, and then if you click log on, then you'll then be taken to the CERN kind of login page where you type in your CERN username and password, and then you should have access to the Binder Hub. We'll use this a couple times today, but this is just something we'll be able to use throughout the whole workshop, including for the developer sprints at the end. Also, we want to try and make sure that this workshop is going to be a community resource moving forward. So all the talks are going to be recorded and captioned. And then additionally, we've created a Zenodo community, which basically means that if you go ahead and take your slides and upload them to Zenodo after you've given your talk, it will mint you a DOI, and then we'll be able to add this DOI to this PyHF Workshop 2023 community, so that this will all get preserved for long-term storage into the future, so that we'll be able to use these later on. And then just want to say kind of in conclusion, a thanks to our supporting institutions. So thanks to IRIS-HEP for both support, funding, infrastructure, and different services. And then also thanks to NumFocus for giving us a small development grant this year to both fund the workshop and fund some of your travel. And then finally, we just want to say also thanks to you, everyone who's here, is either interested or a user or a contributor. And in the 5 years we've kind of been starting this project, we've been kind of blown away by the support and encouragement. So thanks very much just for coming at all. And without any further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jordan, who's going to walk us through a introduction to Feickert.